Welcome everyone to the panel about comic books and webcomics. So, before we start, could each of you introduce yourselves, please?
Hi, I'm Mildred Louie. I am the creator of Agents of the Realm, and you can check it out at agentsoftherealm.com.
Hi, I'm Tanika Stutz. I am the creator of Love and Sprockets, Deja Brew, and I currently edit Yo Comics. I also do a really cool comic book anthology called Beyond, and I'm about to kickstart a really cool anthology called Elements.
Yay.
Yay. Hi, I am Nyla Magruder, and I do a webcomic called MFK.
Hi, awards.
Oh, it also won the Dwayne McDuffie Award for Diversity in 2015.
Yay! Hi guys, I'm Wendy Shu. I am the current artist on Mooncakes, which my really good friend Suzanne Walker co-writes. And I also edit Mooncakes, and I do short webcomics about witches.
Yay!
What made you start writing or drawing comic books?
I mean, for me, I didn't really start making comic books seriously until Agents of the Realm. Like, I had tried a few times to do comics, but they did not go very far. I think the furthest I ever got in a comic before this was 8 pages.
I wanted to make like in high school I tried and failed to do like a number. I wanted to do like the romance comic that was like in romance manga about like, you know, high school and like cutesy and amnesia. I got like I did a short one that's on DeviantArt and no one will ever see it because I deleted it. But then Baboon Cakes is my first long-term like webcomics project.
Yeah, MFK is my first long-term project too. Like ever since I was a teenager, I tried doing comics and like I did comic strips for the school paper and everything, but I couldn't stay committed to anything like Mildred. I'd get a few pages in and then just stop. And so this is the farthest I've ever gotten with a comic.
I was really bored and I didn't want to write prose, so I asked my girlfriend to draw my comic for me, and she crazily said yes. And the rest is history.
Do any of you have a background in arts or writing? Do you think that helps? Is it necessary, or can people nowadays just carve their own path?
I was a slam poet and a IT technician for 8 years, so yeah, anyone can write comics.
I have a creative writing minor, but I don't think it's necessary because I've always been like writing prose and stuff since high school. Yeah, and I also like worked a bunch of crappy temp jobs before launching into comics, so you can do it too.
Yeah, I do have a background in both art and writing. I'm super old, guys, so I was a journalist, and then I went back to school for animation. So animation's actually my full-time field, but comics is something I started doing because animation's really hard, and you need like a crew to do it if you want to put anything out in a decent amount of time. And comics is easier. You can do it by yourself, and so like. From that angle, no, you don't need a background in art to start doing comics. You just need to have the passion for it.
Yeah, I studied animation in college, and I hated it with a passion. But I mean, there are some aspects of it that I did like. I liked the storytelling aspect and stuff, but I didn't really do much serious writing when I was in school. So I don't really have that much of a strong background in writing. But yeah, I do have a background in art. I don't think it's necessary though. I think as long as you want to tell a story, just go ahead and tell it. Just go from there.
Yeah, like truthfully, I learned to write through role playing online.
Yeah.
Oh my God, me
Tell you guys right now, I still have an IRC account, and it will never go away.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Actually, it's something I've seen a lot. A lot of writers started writing through our RPGs online. A lot of people, really. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was on the Gaia forums. It was like serious people only, literate only.
Dark Knight Weatherbane comes into a bar and says,
Oh my god.
"Serve me up another," he says to the bartender.
Oh, that's taking me back to AOL chat days.
That's where I started. AOL 1995. It was the free
Yeah.
bit. And it was all like, "Hello, goodbye."
Yep. And you collect those discs, just have like a stack of free discs.
Yeah, because you need the freedom. Because my mother was never going to pay for AOL. Then I would have to check my Sailor Moon RP forums when I was like at school.
Oh, yes. I was going to say good old times, but to be fair, I still roleplay, so.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
I just role play in real life now.
Okay, where was I? What do you think are the main issues right now in the comics world? And webcomics? Webcomics, comic books? I know it's a general question, but
Oh,
your
that is
thoughts?
so loaded.
Lack of diversity.
Yeah, who wants to lead with that?
I will. I mean, literally, it's the lack of diverse creators. It's the lack of care and consideration from the current publishing industry, and the fact that it wants to answer our calls, but only to its own restraint. It's being very, very uncomfortable to actually looking at itself, self-evaluating, and kind of self-reflecting on what it has been doing wrong, what it continues to do wrong, and that's why we're at where we're at.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of webcomics people choose to go this route because for whatever reason, traditional publishing just isn't doing it for them, whether it's just like for traditional publishing, you need an agent, and then it's like it's hard to get an agent. For a first timer, you usually need to query with like a full manuscript. It's a little bit different with graphic novels, but it's a long process, and I mean, I'm really impatient, so I kind of just was like, I want to jump right in and do this as my thing, and I don't want to wait for anyone else.
Right. Yeah, and there's a weird disconnect between comics and traditional publishing. And so, like, I found that specifically kids' graphic novels kind of falls through the cracks where neither industry really pays that much attention.
Oh, absolutely. My day job is actually in publishing, and a lot of the times I'll get a graphic novel that's being marketed as a young adult graphic novel, but it's actually like it skews much younger, and I don't think that mainstream publishing quite has a grasp on like what is a young adult graphic novel. They have a really good grasp on like what is a young adult, fiction novel or prose novel, but for comics
Right.
it's a little weird.
Yeah, and I've also found like I've started getting graphic novels from the library, and a lot of them are put in nonfiction for some reason, even when they're not. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes them hard to find. I don't know. Like somebody told me that's actually like that's been the designation for graphic novels for a long time, and I don't know why. Like I know like a lot of libraries are starting to move like their young GNs into their own sections, but there are still some that are put in nonfiction.
That's so weird.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of why they probably have like a hard time designating actual kids graphic novels is that I feel like we've gotten to this point somehow where we don't think comics are for kids anymore. Like it's like teens and up, which is weird because like I started reading comics when I could literally start reading, so it's like kids can definitely read comics and they definitely do, and people are definitely making it for them.
Yeah.
Kinda
Yeah, and
sad.
they need them. They really need
Yeah.
them.
What's really weird, I just got asked to do a panel for a different convention I got invited to, and the name of one of the panels is literally comic books for kids and adults, but what about the teens? And I was like, have you been reading comics in the last
Wow.
okay, so I had to send them an email, and I was like, I politely would like to maybe request a change for this. Hey, here's some factoids about current books out for teens that are graphic novels. Maybe you might want to change your opinion on this.
Alright.
Yeah, that's maybe something that traditional publishing has on comics is that they're very clear about like age markets, or at least more clear than comics are.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the current market for teen appropriate graphic novels is kind of sad right now.
It is.
See?
Oh, and if you add diversity to the mix, then it's like extremely sad.
Oh,
Oh
it's
my god,
extremely
yeah.
non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, and to also like go back to Tanika's point earlier, yeah, I think the industry as a whole, like diversity is this big word that likes to be tossed around, and while they like do it superficially, so you'll start seeing more like diverse looking characters in the books. There isn't really as much of an attempt at actually diversifying the people who are actually writing them. So you
Oh.
still come across
Or giving the process, or I don't know, being a part of the entire industry.
Yeah. So you, like, even though you'll get these books that are labeled as diverse, it's like you'll read the content in them and it's like, oh no.
Oh my
Yeah.
You guys still have a way to go.
Long road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's my cat, if you heard
Oh!
it.
I'm sorry, everybody. The con is over. The cat has won.
Exactly.
I was wondering whose cat would interrupt first.
I knew it would be mine.
It happened on the previous panel as well, so don't worry. Clearly, everyone loves cats here, so.
Yay.
When is the cat butt panel? When does that panel start?
All panels are cat book panels.
It's a cat butt free friendly con.
Exactly, yep. Tell me, what's some things you'd like to see more of on the comic book world? In terms of stories as well as, you know, more diversity in the creators themselves, as I mentioned.
Sexy dragons.
Sexy dragons. Yeah. I would like to see less, we need to kill the only black or queer or female character, insert slot line here, to make this man pain even stronger man pain.
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
I was literally going to say the same thing.
That'd be a start. That's a start.
You know, in the current like teen appropriate market, I'm seeing a lot of kind of like these graphic memoirs, and a lot of them are just, I'm like, but this is so sad. Can we be a little fun, like more fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, like I guess it's much easier to, I don't know. I don't want to say it's easier to do a graphic memoir than a prose memoir, but for some reason, that's a hot thing, and just it's not personally to my taste. So I would like to see more like fictional, fun stories for teenagers.
Yeah.
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 I want fun queer stories where the characters are already dating and already in relationships, not we just have to have 50 million meet cute stories. Like, no offense, meet cutes are really cute. But sometimes people are already just dating, and then they go have adventures.
I agree.
Yeah.
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 And they don't have a crappy time, and people don't, just like hate on them the whole time. Sometimes they just have fun.
Wow. What a new concept! People can have fun.
I will say I like meet cute stories, but that's because I'm really cheesy.
You are super cheesy. That's why we're gonna do stuff together.
I know. I'm like, give me the cheese. Give it to me.
I want to see more black women writing for the big two.
It'd be really nice.
That'd be cool.
It's great that we can have representation, but it'd be really nice if they let us do it ourselves.
Yep.
Indeed.
Write a book for the big two.
Wait, what?
I said, Nyla, go write a book for the big two. I would love to read a Nyla book.
Okay.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right now.
I would too.
How do I become a Fortune 500 investor so I can just, like, make these things
Oh
happen?
my god.
I mean,
So
but
like,
I'm kind of counting on you to do that. Like, that's what I'm waiting for.
so like in one of my father's attempts to like give me advice, he was like, you should write a business proposal for a small press and submit it to like an investor, and you know there's just a lot of rich people with money lying around and they would be willing to give it to you. And I was like, for publishing? Like where? This would be so great. But like what fancy world is this? I want to go live in it.
That is literally my next stop is I'm going to an investors meeting. And they're like, we want you to pitch us fun creative stuff because we just like to give money so that we don't have to count it towards our taxes at the end of the year.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my god.
Like where is the person? Who do we have to talk to?
Exactly. I was like, well, Mr. Moneybags, Mrs. Moneybags, Mixed Moneybags, if you would like to give me your moneybags, I will take all the great ways that moneybags can be handled.
We have to get on that. What advice would you give to people trying to break into the world of comic books or webcomics, whether from the writing perspective or the drawing one? There isn't finding a potential investor with a lot of money.
I mean, money does help. Like
Yeah.
money is a big motivating factor.
Yeah.
I like to pay people I work with personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But I mean, I always say this because I always get people asking me this, and I'm like, literally all I did was I woke up one day and decided I was going to do it, and then I did it. Like, I feel like, especially when it comes to webcomics, there is no breaking in. It's just doing it. You just gotta make it, put it up online, and that's all there is to it. I think people just kind of get caught up because they see these other comics who have like millions of readers, and they think that's like what you have to start off with. But the reality is that everyone started from someplace, and all of these people who have these huge readers, like readerships, it's because they've been doing it for like a decade. It's like they've been in it for the long run. No one starts off with like that many people.
Right.
Yeah, I would say find an update schedule that works for you because I have a day job and I have like other freelance projects that I'm juggling, but like I was like I can totally draw and put up like 8 pages a month, and it was like after 3 months I was like I can't do this, so I had to scale it back to twice a month, and that's like a much more feasible schedule. But I would say that like people have been very understanding about that because I was afraid. I was afraid we were gonna lose like readers or patrons or whatever, but no, they've been really cool with that. So.
Yeah, the one thing I think I would suggest is start small. Like if you've never done comics before, don't like lead in with your magnum opus. Just, try short comics at first. Like I think for me, like what discourages me most is, if a project just seems insurmountable, if it just seems like too big. And so if you break your project down into small chunks, it's a lot easier to digest. So just start small and take your time.
If you do want to do that magnum opus, though, build a buffer. Build a really huge buffer.
Oh my god, yes.
Buffer. In fact, finish the whole darn thing if you can, and
Yes.
then start posting it online, and then don't worry about going to conventions and having a posting schedule and everything else. Just build a very lovely buffer, because you're gonna kiss it goodbye at some point, and it doesn't matter what you do or how well you try to prepare. That buffer gonna be gone. So enjoy it while you have it. It's a nice freedom.
Mine
Yes.
was gone. Mine was gone in like a month, and I was like, oh crap.
It goes
I
fast.
I still have a buffer somehow. Somehow I haven't burned out yet. I literally only started getting a buffer a month ago. So, like, one thing I do recommend also is, like, if your story is broken up into chapters, give yourself a break. I gave myself like 4 weeks between my last chapter and the current one, and that's how I built my buffer.
Yeah.
Before, like, I couldn't, because I would give myself like a week off, and so it was basically impossible to build something. But yeah, like, like, I think that people get kind of worried about people getting mad at them for like taking a break, but I think people are pretty understanding, because you have a life, and I think people get that if you don't take a break, then you'll burn out really fast, and then they won't have a story to read anymore.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. Like, definitely, don't feel bad about taking a break, but if you're working full time or, you've got a hectic schedule, like, a lot of the question I get frequently is, how do you manage your time? And, like, there's really no trick to it. Like, basically, there are going to be days when you are tired and you don't want to do anything, and if you want to stay on schedule, you just have to work through that and do it. Like, definitely don't make yourself sick over it, but, like, for me, what worked was just knowing my schedule and knowing, every night when I come home from work, I need to put in like at least a couple hours into my comic, and building that into a routine. And, like, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. Like, it becomes part of your schedule, so, your mind and your body kind of know, okay, this is what we're doing. But it's, especially when you're starting, it's kind of working through that pain of, oh, I have this extra project that I have to do when all I want to do is watch TV or play video games.
Yeah, don't wait for that moment of inspiration. That doesn't exist. It's a lie. It's all a lie. We get stuff done because we draw even when we don't want to.
Yeah.
But also, like, definitely, give yourself a break. I try not to
Yeah.
work too much on the weekend, because the weekend is, like, my time to see my friends, like, my time to do other stuff that I want. And that's, like, really important to keeping me on task and refreshed during the week.
I take breaks when I want to take breaks. I'm like, oh, is this the deadline? I'm going to go get a pedicure. Bye, guys. See you guys later. Only slightly. No, I think that you as a person is way more important than you as a creator, you as a artist, whatever. If you're feeling pain, you really need to back off. You really need to put you up here and your comic kind of down here. Because regardless of fans and all the other kind of things, the caveats that come with making a comic, you really need to take care of yourself, because you're the only you that exists.
Yeah.
As soon as my girlfriend was feeling like wrist pain or whatever, because she works in comics professionally, it's time to get a wrist brace. It's time for you to stop doing so many things that might put pressure on it. It's time for you to really focus on you, because there's going to be more of you after comics. This might not be your end game. This might not be what you're meant to do completely for the rest of your life. So why don't we just let that go?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's not who can, draw the fastest or become the most famous the fastest. It's who can stay in the game the longest. This is a long haul game. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that great quote by, was it a manga artist or someone that worked in animation, but, they were talking about, like, all of their friends who came up in the industry with them and just worked and worked and worked all the time, and now they're all dead and he's still here.
Oh my god.
Right?
Yeah,
Like that's so sad. Like
It's
yeah, like
true, though.
Yeah.
yeah, you have to. It's easy to get caught up in, just churning out pages and meeting deadlines and everything. You really have to take care of your body too.
Yeah.
And it's hard, especially like when we're all poor and health insurance is like a legitimate issue. Sometimes you can't always, treat your ailments in a timely manner, but this is why breaks are important.
Yes.
Couldn't agree more. I have a question here that ties in with what I've asked from a viewer. Emma O'Brien asks, what tips do you have for someone starting their first webcomic? I know you've spoken a little about this, but what about platforms? There are so many places you could start. Which do you think, not the best, but which do you like the most?
Tumblr is free. Like,
Yeah.
Tumblr, yeah.
yeah,
The
Tumblr.
WordPress.
there's a webcomic theme for it. There's WordPress, there's Tapastic, there's SmackJeeves, there's, like, I'm really gonna, like, run out of fingers here. There's a lot of free resources, pretty much, for putting together a webcomic, like having the base for your website. So check those out.
Yeah.
Definitely, the Tumblr webcomic theme is very like customizable.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it's been really great.
Yeah, I use Comic Press. I like it. It works. It's fine.
I know a lot of people use WordPress, and like I fiddled with it on the back end, and you can customize it really well too. And I think they actually have like a comic plugin that they've actually made because so many people have used it or like are using it for webcomics. So that's always one of those things that I toss out there for people. And also make sure you have an actual URL for your webcomic so people know how to easily find it.
Yes,
Don't
even
just like give like a long like stream of characters for people to go to. Just like get that domain name and get it up there for your comic.
yeah, and even if you don't want web hosting, just buy the domain name and have it
Yeah.
forward to your Tumblr or wherever.
Yep, there's very cheap hosting with sites like DreamHost, which I don't recommend. There is Bluehost, though.
DreamHost has actually gotten a lot better. Like
I can't ever. I can't. But Bluehost is really cool, and I think they're technically probably owned by DreamHost. Very quietly. How many people they pissed off. But I still mention them because they do have cheap domain names, and they do actually have a customer service person now that's not a robot that treats you like crap. So a real person crap instead. But DreamHost, Bluehost, 1-in-1. There's lots of really great. Don't do GoDaddy. GoDaddy sucks.
Oh, I use GoDaddy.
Wow.
Mildred, get it together.
Poor Kate Mildred. Just kidding. Oh, and have an actual Gmail address. I'll tell you right now, I laugh at a lot of people who still use Hotmail and Yahoo. Just gonna say that. Just have a Gmail address. It makes me think that you live in this current century.
Okay. Also, the website itself. Number 1, have an about page that actually has information on it about your comic.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And make it
Number.
copy
Go
it.
ahead. Number 2, have an archive, like an actual updated archive with pages on it. Yes.
And that's easy to do now too, because so many websites they like automatically generate the archive for you. So just make sure you have a link to it so people actually have access to it. Because like if they're a reader who like started reading your comic like several months ago and then got busy, it's gonna be really hard for them to figure out how to get back into it if they have to click through every single page individually.
Right.
Have a contact section on your website that actually has your contact information on it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, another question from the viewers. Caleb Russell asks, what are your influences? It could be in terms of anything, whether it's comic books, fiction, movies, artists, anything.
I
Shonen
feel like
manga.
I should just like roll out a scroll right now, like a list of everything.
I
Yeah.
guess I grew up reading a lot of Clamp, which I didn't realize. Like, yeah, which in American comics, it's like I guess at the time kind of hard to do like books by women for women, but Clamp was definitely. It was so like everything was so beautiful and like their inking is just like phenomenal. And of course like all the magical girl stories, my thing.
Yeah, I legit like went through a phase where I was really into shonen manga, which is Japanese comics for boys. And I was reading One Piece and Naruto and Shaman King, and I was so obsessed, and I thought to myself, it'd be nice if there was a comic just like this that was about a girl, because a lot of those comics just don't have very good female representation. So that was how MFK got going.
Oh, for mooncakes, I read in 8th grade this like terrible bodice ripper romance that a friend had like was like, this has sex in it. Like you got like, oh my god. It was about a witch and a werewolf, but they were like in the I think it was in like the Georgia Bayou, and the witch was like a botanist and the werewolf was this like hunky forest ranger. Rugged wildlife man, and they had to like there were like witches in the swamp, and there was like a coven of like evil witches, and it was like I was just like kind of confused by it, but the idea of like a witch and a werewolf being like dating never really left me, so that's like the very base influence of Mooncake.
That's awesome.
That's
I
amazing.
love your source material.
I feel like I have a lot of different sources of inspiration. Like with agents, it's obvious, like Sailor Moon, Imagining Wraith, and Cardcaptor Sakura, and all that stuff. But another big influence is the old 90s Disney cartoon Gargoyles. Which isn't, I feel like it's probably not intensely obvious unless you're as obsessed with that show as I am, and then the influence will be very, very clear in the comic. But yeah,
Love it.
I feel like when it comes to making your story, you should be pretty open to different sources of inspiration, because you can be surprised at like what you can pull from something that seems completely unrelated to what you're writing, and how it can actually help make things flow a lot more easily and potentially in like different directions than you were originally planning on to.
I was a nerdy, quiet kid who liked to play Secret of Mana on her Super Nintendo and rock out to reading Goosebumps, because what up, R.L. Stein? And I read anything and everything that was available that my mom would buy me from the comic section when I was a kid, including the crappiest comic of my life, Mike Danger. Detective Mike Danger. It was the worst thing I'd ever read, but I bought it weekly because it was the only other thing I could buy other than Mad Magazine and Casper the Ghost. So, between that, X-Men, which I still have my special collector's edition baseball episode that they came out with.
Oh my god.
It was a various tantamount of crap. It was a lot of crap. I read a lot of crap as a kid, and I was like, wow, this sure is a lot of crap. Maybe I could add to this crap. I mean, if you're just pulling ideas out of your butt, I lie to my mom all the time to get what I want. So, what ended up happening was I really enjoyed creative writing, and there was a creative writing program in my high school, actually, that made us go work with an author or a writer or a DJ or a sound producer all day for one day, and I got a really cool novelist that I got to hang out with who was crazy as all hell and believed that bats were going to attack her in her sleep, but she also wrote some really cool gothic horror fiction, and at that point I kind of realized, hey, maybe I could do this too.
Ah, that's so awesome. Oh
And
my
that's how
God.
comics get made.
Yeah.
I feel you, Nika, about the weird older artistic mentor, because I definitely had one of those too in college. I interned with this poet, and he was like obsessed with his turtle, and he wrote poems. He wrote poems like
Great.
for his turtle, and he would kiss the side of the turtle tank. And it was
God.
Oh man.
And so I would sit in his office and lie and copy edit his stuff while he sat in the chair behind me and just smoked weed.
Oh, that's
Man.
amazing.
Man, I studied animation, so all my mentors were just bitter.
Oh my God.
Bitter
Oh.
folks always make you want to do better because you're like, damn, I don't want to grow up like that.
Oh.
Same. I studied animation too, and I can feel that.
So much bitterness. Oh man, college.
Don't be bitter, kids. Don't be. Unless you're bitter at another webcomic and you're like, I want to beat you. That's just envy. No, I'm just kidding. No, there's no reason to be bitter. Just live your life and be happy.
You know,
Yeah.
I will say that the biggest thing of inspiration for me to get things done is spite.
Oh my God, you too.
If someone tells me I can't do something or if what I'm going to do is bad, it just makes me want to do it more.
Yes, I'm the same way.
Embrace the petty.
Yeah. But like, take
Make
that
a button
pettiness,
that says that.
just take that pettiness and make a comic. It's healthy.
Don't get petty. Get a comic. No.
Okay, are there any particular projects you want to give a shout out to? Friends, your own project, like a Kickstarter, anything.
I'm doing a Kickstarter July 1st. It's Elements, an anthology of creators of color. So be sure to back it. Otherwise, I'll call you out on Twitter. No, I'm just kidding. Be sure to check it out. See if it's something you're interested in. It's all ages, speculative fiction. It's Pantone 185U. It's a spot color book, so it's really, really pretty. I'm really looking forward to it. I know everybody on this panel is part of this project in some way, shape, or form. I am crazy, and I don't like to stop working, ever. And then other than that, please check out, let's see, God, I'll come back to me because I have so many comics I want to name.
Shout out to Joe McGill for doing Power and Magic, the queer Witches of Color anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's started soon. Super excited for that.
I feel like there's another Kickstarter that's supposed to be starting soon, and I can't remember what it is now.
It's mine.
Oh, no, I said another.
We are going to talk about Kickstarters later on today, so.
None of you are invited, including me. Okay. I'd like to give a shout out to Dershing Helmer because they're an amazing creator. I love the Meek. I love Marintrum. I'd also like to give a shout out to Spike Trotman. If you want to get your porn on, go buy Yes Roya. And I'd love to give a shout out to Madeline Flores because she is a complete shining light in my life who always inspires me to create more. She is the creator of Help Us Great Warrior, but she currently has a new book I think she's working on right now that should be solicited really soon. And you can check them out on Twitter.
Yay. I want to give a shout out to Suzanne Walker, who is like one of my best friends and also an amazing writer, and she's writing a fantasy novel about like empires, and there will be dinosaurs. There will be dinosaurs. God damn it! If you're a literary agent watching this panel, you should follow Suzanne. She's at Suzanne on Twitter. And also a shout out to Alyssa Wong, who is another beacon of joy in my life, and she's an amazing horror writer, and we are actually doing a comic together for FlameCon. So.
I'd love to give a shout out to my good friend Vanessa Stefaniak. She has been this incredibly unreal supportive force. I actually went to school with her. She does a webcomic called Radio Silence. It is a lot of fun. It's about this UK rock band on the road and trying to make it big, and it's just a delight.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna shout out some webcomics I like. First is Poltergeist by Lorianne Wee. Right here. And you can buy the first volume in graphic novel form, but the second volume is updating online right now. It's really fun. It's about this girl who moves into a house in her freshman year of college that's haunted by all these cute boys, and she has to help them move on to the afterworld. Also, Until the Last Dog Dies by Kez, which is about a werewolf fighting ring.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's trippy. And also Witchy by Ariel, which is
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great fantasy series. She does some things with her panel layouts that just make me think, oh god, I have to be a better person and artist in general.
I'm now Buddhist. I have to be a better person.
So yeah, check those out. They're all really great comics.
You all make me feel that way, that I have to be a better artist and writer and just everything. So, yeah. But really, thank you.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Stay where you... No, I'm just kidding.
You can continue. Yeah. Come, just throw the compliments at me. No, unfortunately, I think we've run out of time.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having us, Diana.
No,
Thank
thank you for being here. I really enjoyed it, and I wish I had more time to just talk with you and but unfortunately no. But I have another panel next.
But you can always message us on Twitter.
Yes. I will. BFFs forever. No, but if anyone has any questions, you can always tweet at us. You can use the hashtag BooksDotCon, and these people are amazing, so I'm sure they'll help you, and if they have time, they'll answer your questions too. So, really, thank you so much for being here, and see you all on the next panel.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.